But I want to ask her views on what's going on in Madison, Wisconsin. Are you there, Michelle?
I'm here. How are you, great one?
I'm okay. How are you?
I am doing terrific. Just observing our neighbors to the east of us in Wisconsin and having a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, look at what's going on over there. What do you think about all that?
Well, I'd say it's a new revolution going on over there. We saw the great Ronald Reagan pushing back the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc nations, and we saw Abraham Lincoln. He pushed back the Confederacy to Atlanta, and now we're seeing the Republicans in Wisconsin causing the Democrats to retreat to Rockford, Illinois. So I'd say we're winning.
Yeah, they are a bunch of cowards, and they obviously don't like the Democratic Party. Let me ask you a question. You've been in state government and federal government. Did you ever run away and go to another state and stay at a Motel 6 or a budget motel because you might lose a vote?
I did not. I stayed and I fought. And I fought Democrats.
Mm-hmm. And you lost a lot, right?
Yeah, we did, because for 38 years we were in the minority in Minnesota. This is the first time in 38 years that the Republicans actually run the Minnesota State Senate, and that's what's so different in Wisconsin. Now you have conservatives in charge. This is how liberals react. They don't take no for an answer.
Well, that's it. Apparently the rule is they're not allowed to lose.
That's right. They're not allowed to lose. And the other thing we've learned is that they don't have to follow court decisions that they don't like. They also don't have to follow laws they don't like. They can just declare them unconstitutional. It's very convenient.
Yes. Now, let me ask you about what's going on in the House and so forth. I just read a piece literally right before you came on saying that the Democrats are kind of warming up to what the Republicans are proposing in terms of spending cuts, because the Republicans, I'm talking about for a 2-week or 3-week extension, have used a lot of their proposed cuts, that is the Democrats, in this first round of cuts. What happens when we run out of Democrat cuts?
I think they're going to be saying no, because what it looks like Harry Reid is warming up to is a 2-week extension. So in other words, instead of having the government run until the end of September this year, when we end the fiscal year, the government would run only an additional 2 weeks, and then we'd have another showdown. And what the Republicans did is cut spending to the effect of about $2 billion per week beyond what the budget was last year. So we really do have real cuts, some serious cuts. And so we're starting with slush funds right now. And these do include Democrat programs, though. It's a lot of education programs that they like to have and different funds that they've set up. So if they agree to this for the next 2 weeks, that's something. So if we have to take it step by step, we will. But I just don't think you're going to see Republicans back down on cutting spending. We can't. We cannot let it go on.
By the way, where's Obama in all this? Just kind of laying back, hoping for the best?
Well, I think what Obama is doing is he's busy organizing buses and trains and planes to get people to Madison, Illinois. I mean, or Madison, Wisconsin, here you have BarackObama.com, Organizing for America. You have the President of the United States behind these protests in Madison. He's trying to run away from it now, because here he can't balance a budget with $1.65 trillion in debt this year. And Scott Walker, the governor of Wisconsin, is doing everything he can to balance this budget, because if he doesn't, very soon he's going to have to lay off about 1,200 state workers, minimum. Mm-hmm. And so he's trying to balance a budget. Barack Obama has no intention of balancing a budget, and yet Barack Obama, and the mother of all ironies, is financing a lot of these protests going on in Madison. It's breathtaking.
You know, they'll deny that. They'll say, can you prove that? Of course, Organizing for America is his little political army.
Well, the website, Mark, is called BarackObama.com. That's where they're organizing all these buses, and they're helping to finance people to get on these buses to get there. That's BarackObama.com. How do you deny that?
Let me ask you this. Politico, which is this left-wing website that pretends to be a news site, they trash you a lot. They trash Sarah Palin a lot. They're very offended when people ask some questions about Michelle Obama and what she's eating, given that she's trying to dictate all kinds of nutritional policies throughout the country. Has Politico ever defended you against smear attacks?
Not to my knowledge. No, it's usually the other way around.
So they've never called you and said, what do you think about these vicious attacks against you?
We usually don't get calls to verify and check up and see if something is right. Usually they go with whatever it is that they hear.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm not going to do my Sean Hannity imitation and just keep asking you if you're running for president. So where are you right now? Are you in Minnesota or Iowa?
Am I going to Iowa?
Well, you've been to Iowa. Are you going again?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to go and give a speech down in Iowa, and I've been to South Carolina, and I'm actually planning to go to New Hampshire. And what I'm doing right now, quite honestly, is I'm concerned about the message that's getting put out. And Republicans aren't always consistent about our message. And so I want to make sure, especially in these primary states where it's crucial that we choose a strong, rock-solid constitutional conservative for our nominee. I just really want to encourage the people who will be making that choice in these primary states. They have to think very long and hard about who our nominee will be and not just get swept up into some kind of a machine, but actually think this through, because we've got a very narrow window of opportunity to repeal Obamacare and to turn the country back on the right foot. And we've just got to make sure that we really look these nominees over and make sure that we're choosing something who's actually going to be committed to repealing Obamacare and turning the country around.
You know where I want to go? I want to go to Bermuda, but that's a whole other story. Let me ask you this. Do you agree with me when we hear these politicians say, look, we got to put the social issues to the side, or, we got to deal with right to work later? To me, as you know, you've read Liberty and Tyranny, conservatism is a way of living. It's a way of viewing the world. It's a way of governing, and you don't break it up into a zillion little pieces. It is a philosophy of life. Do you agree with me?
I do, and I've read your book cover to cover more than once. I've read it multiple times, and for people who own Liberty and Tyranny, read it and read it again. And if you don't own it, run out and buy it, because this book is exactly that. It talks about a worldview that is based on liberty, and it impacts every aspect of our lives. That's just what liberty does to you. It frees you up in all areas of life. And so I think rather than saying we don't like this faction or we don't like that faction, the better thing that we can do is say, come in.
That's the point. That's the point. We need to be. And here's what I don't understand. Does the left do this? Do they say, you know what, let's put the social issues, quote unquote, on? They're pressing on every front. And so it just seems to me our position is individual liberty, constitutionalism, private property rights, and we want as many people to join us under our big tent. Isn't it funny that when we promote conservatism, we're being told, no, exclude that group, but if we move to the left, we have a big tent?
Well, and it's because right now we have that big group. We have that big tent. So the media is trying to help the hard left by factionalizing us and creating schisms. And that's exactly what we don't do. So what we are all of the above, because we are a three-legged stool of the national security conservatives. We are the social conservatives. We're the fiscal conservatives. Because I tell you what, if you are a social conservative, I guarantee you're a fiscal conservative. I guarantee it. And if you're a fiscal conservative, think about those social issues. There is nothing that helps the economy more than an intact family, where the family is taking care of the social needs rather than the federal government. You can't get a more efficient economic unit than the family, an intact family. So we need each other, and I personally see actually a fairly strong unity right now. We haven't lost independents. We haven't lost a lot of the Democrats who voted our way in this last election. Let's not let the left and the media divide us. Let's hang tough. We will. Right now, things are going great. We need to keep it that way and have a very strong message. How can we not in the face of everything Obama is doing? This guy is hardly tacking to the middle. He is hardly standing in the shadow of Ronald Reagan. He's moving more left than ever, spurning judges, being a part of these union protests. And now gasoline here in Minnesota today is $3.49 a gallon. I think we've got great opportunities in 2012 because his policies are a disaster.
All right. Well, Michelle Bachmann, I want to thank you, and God bless you, and be safe out there.
I will, and it's always wonderful to talk to you, Mark. And, hey, you got to come to Washington and teach one of those classes on the Constitution for all the new members.
Maybe I'll teach one on DOMA. All right, my friend. Well, God bless you.
God bless you, Mark. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. That's Michelle Bachmann.